What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Knockout City. I want to talk about the review scores that I think the game is going to get. So this is a smaller game. I think it's going to fly under the radar of a lot of people, but it's a game that I am actually interested in. Now, I haven't played any of the betas or whatever, the closed, I guess, I think you had to be invited into them. So whatever there's been playable of this game, I have not yet played it, but I have watched it. I've watched like Omrecker play. I've watched Mr. Fruit play it, so I've seen a good amount of gameplay for it. Probably not enough to make a really good guess in terms of what the review scores are going to be, but I'm definitely going to try for you in this video. So let's just jump in. I really look, whenever there's a game like this, even though it's not Rocket League, and I just kind of spoiled it, is I try to compare it to Rocket League, and I think that's maybe only because I really love Rocket League. I've played the game ever since it came out. I've actually, like, over the last 2 or so months, I've jumped back in. I've really gotten good at it. I play it like at least like an hour or so almost every single night. Okay, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I'm definitely up there in the rankings. Okay, so maybe it's just because of that I kind of compare it to Rocket League, but I honestly do it not because the games are similar or anything like that, but because of staying power. I think whenever you have a game like Knockout City or a game like Rocket League or even like Destruction All-Stars, I kind of compare to Rocket League too. Any kind of sporting game that's a little bit weird, let's just say that. I think the number one thing you want to do is stay around a long time. And look, I said that a lot when it came to Destruction All-Stars. I was actually a big fan of that game in terms of leading into it. And when the game came out, I actually really enjoyed the game. I played that game for like 3 to 5 days straight for like 5 hours each. That's not a lot of time, but I played the game a lot, and I noticed after like day 2, the game died. Nobody plays the game. Literally day 3, like nobody was playing the game. And then from that point on, the game is, I would say, dead in the waters, which sucks because that's really the whole point of a game like that. You know, if you have a Destruction All-Stars and it lasts for 5 days, you have failed. I would say, I like the game. It sucks for me to say that because I really do try to appreciate, developers and their vision, even if they fail at it. But I would say they failed. So when it comes to Knockout City, it's literally the same thing. For me, if it's fun, if it's enjoyable, all that stuff, fantastic. But will it last longer than a couple days? And if the answer is yes, then it rises. If it doesn't, then it falls. And I know, like, what does that necessarily have to do with the review scores? Well, I would think that really impacts review scores like big time. To me, a game like specifically Knockout City, the review scores, now I don't go based off review scores, okay? I make my buying decisions based off of me, based off of my budget, based off of a game, grabs me, and the game has grabbed me, okay? I definitely am interested in this game. It definitely looks solid, but I don't think I'm going to be getting it, and that's kind of like the budget side because I just bought Resident Evil. I'm getting Mass Effect, and then obviously there's this game as well. And it's like, I don't really know if I want to drop the money. I don't do the EA the Game Pass or whatever their system is. I don't do that. I know it's I think free on there, right? But I don't do that, so I don't know if I'm going to be getting this game maybe like heavily discounted later down the line. But and I guess you could say that's because the game hasn't fully grabbed me. But to me, again, review scores that are low, let's say 5, 6s, even like low 7s, to me would indicate one of two things. Number one, the staying power isn't high, and number two, or I guess the gameplay mechanics aren't tight enough. Now, what I will say is, again, I haven't played it, so I don't know how it feels, stuff like that, but watching it, it does look like a lot of fun. You could say that probably for a lot of games. You could even say that for games that really aren't fun or are a lot more fun watching than they are playing. Or, again, like if you don't want to buy the game, of course you're going to have more fun with it when you're watching somebody do it for free versus you actually buying it. So there's a lot of factors there, but like watching Mr. Fruit, watching Omrecker, right? Watching these guys, it's like it actually looks really fun. It doesn't seem to be too steep of a learning curve, but again, the idea is how much is there actually going to be in this game. So I will say, and I normally try to be optimistic with review scores for the most part, but I'm going to say this game is going to get somewhere between like a 70 and we'll say 74. Will give me a small-ish range to work with. So I'm going to say low 70s basically is what I think this game is going to be. I hope it's not that. I hope it's higher because, again, I would say if it is in that low 70s, I think the gameplay looks solid. Now, again, like what do I know? They could say it's the gameplay's fault, but again, in my opinion, low scores probably mean there's not enough there. And I know games, games can start like that and start bad and then kind of get full, I guess. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a really good example of that. In fact, it's not the same game, Knockout City to Battlefront, but what Battlefront did have was an insane, very good core in terms of the gameplay and stuff like that. That's the thing that Battlefront 2 had immediately. In fact, honestly, that's what Battlefront 1 had. And Battlefront 1 literally did nothing with it. Battlefront 2, over the years, added more heroes and villains, added more modes, added more things to do. And by doing that, they insulated what was already a really solid product, when it got down to the bones. You know what I mean? So for Knockout City, again, that's kind of it's not a death sentence, I don't think, because if the game comes out, it's fundamentally good. Like, it's really fun to play. It's maybe challenging. There's a learning curve to it. You can get really good. Like, there's clearly levels of how good you are, right? You can face people that are much better than you. You can face people that are much worse than you. But maybe there's just not a lot of modes, or there's not a lot of maps, or there's something about the game that's not really full. That's something that you can add over time. And so it's not immediately a death sentence, although I'd prefer it doesn't start like that. Honestly, Destruction All-Stars literally was that. I think, at its core, Destruction All-Stars is a really cool idea, and I would say it's relatively fun. There's some characters that are overpowered. There's some characters that I think are flat out better than others. I enjoyed it. It's fun crashing into each other. There is skill there, because you definitely can be better than other people, but there's like 3 maps. They're all like the exact same thing. There's different modes, but they're not too much different, and it just gets old rather quickly. And so, again, it's got a good foundation, it's got a good core, but they didn't really do anything. And yeah, they're adding stuff now, but to be honest with you, I don't really care anymore. So for Knockout City, that's a thing too. Honestly, it depends on how much you're into the game, right? If you were really into Battlefront 2, you were willing to wait, and you would jump back in when this stuff happens. If you're really into Knockout City, you will wait for new things to be added. But I mean, let's be honest. How many of us are going to be sitting on Knockout City waiting for them to do updates a month, 2 months, 3 months in? There's other things to play. I don't think Knockout City is the most important game in anybody's life, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's people that have been waiting for this game for a long time, even though it was announced rather recently. But I'm rooting for this game. I know it's been a more of a negative thing, but I'm promising you, I'm rooting for this game. I love Dodgeball. I literally love the game of Dodgeball. I love the movie Dodgeball. So I really want the game to be good. I think it's, again, one of those wacky, really cool ideas where it's like, why hasn't this been done before? Like, why did it take this long? So I'm definitely rooting for it to be good. It looks fun. It looks engaging. I'm just hoping that there's a little bit more than just the bare bones aspects of it, okay? So I'm going to say low 70s. It is kind of being a pessimist. I mean, I'm really hoping for like 80s, because if it's in the 80s, then I think it's going to be a pretty solid game. Again, I care about what journalists say. I don't go based off of what journalists say. I make my decisions off of me. But hey, if the game gets like a 90 on like an average, and I've known that it's fun, all that stuff, maybe that'll convince me to buy it. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think the review scores are going to be? Are you into it? Did you play the betas? Did you like it? Let me know. Maybe that sold some people on it, or maybe it didn't sell other people. So definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you see when all these videos go up. I do a brand new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.